Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to show you how to paint kind of a winter illustration page of our favorite winter things. So let's jump right in and do it. Okay, so to start, I'm just going to go through my materials. I am going to be painting in my Etchr Lab cold press watercolor sketchbook today. I have my Winsor Newton Professional watercolors with me, my Princeton snap brushes in a size 6 and a size 2 round. I also have a pencil and eraser. I get asked if I use a specific one. I honestly just bought these Tombow pencils. I don't even know what, it's an HB pencil. It doesn't really matter. I would use whatever pencil is lying around, so it's nothing special. And a kneaded eraser. I like kneaded erasers. They work really well, and they don't leave any residue on your paper. So if you can get one of those, I highly suggest them. And let's just jump right in. Okay, so we're going to be painting a winter favorites kind of little illustrations in watercolor today. You could always write something different in the middle or at the top. You could write winter essentials, or these are a few of my favorite things. Hello winter, whatever you want to do. It's up to you. I'm not going to be obviously showing you how I wrote that because this is not a lettering tutorial. But if you are interested in learning how to do calligraphy, I always suggest looking at the Happy Ever Crafter. She is wonderful. That's where I learned originally. So check her out. This is not, my specialty. So go look at her stuff. Okay, so let's do it. Okay, so thinking of winter, I don't actually like winter, but there's some things that are nice about it. So we're gonna be painting some of those things. So I think the first thing I want to paint are Christmas lights. So for this, I'm just gonna do some little swoopy circles like that for the Christmas lights and like the string of them. And then I'm just gonna do these little squares coming off of them, which is where the lights will be. Actually, I'm going to have that one on a different side. You're just going to be kind of preparing where you're going to be painting those lights. Very simple illustrations here. You have one coming in, one coming out, and just staggering them. No special way, okay? And then we'll paint that after. So there's Christmas lights. What else? I'm thinking, obviously, a tree, maybe like a nice little evergreen tree, maybe in a pot. So let's do like a little pot here. And we'll do just like a little evergreen tree coming out. Okay, so we're doing a little pot like that. And then I'm probably not even going to paint the tree. I'm just going to kind of do the trunk right here just so I know where it's going to be. Okay, so we have a tree. Let's do some mittens. I'm going to put some little mittens here. So we're just going to do a line at the bottom, come up and do a circle, not a circle, a curve. And then where the little thumb would be, and then we'll do the other one over here. We'll attach them by a string. Maybe we can bring this down a bit more and we'll do a little bit of knitting right there. Let's do the other one. The thumb's going to come in the other way. So on this side, very simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Like that. And then we can have like a little attachment like that. Okay, so we have mittens. I also think of big cozy sweaters when I think winter. Let's do one of those kind of like ugly Christmas sweaters because those are always fun. So I'm just going to do a scoop for the neck here. Then I'm going to go under where the armpits would be. So there and there. I'm going to come down, give it a little bit of shape. Like that. And then the shoulders are going to come out. Arms. Just gonna give them a little bit of movement with some curve like that. And then we'll do the detail on that later. What else? Maybe a little bird here. So like a cardinal or something. So let's start with just basic shapes. And we're doing this really small. So a circle for the head and then an oval for the body. Like that. Okay, and then you're just going to come scoop down like that. Let's do a little beak here. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. we're gonna come up and do like a little kind of mohawky thing, and then follow straight down that line of just skimming over where that oval would be. And then the feathers can come out back here, come back up, and then right under the oval, like that. And we could always move it over too if we wanted to. You could do like a little branch of pine or something here. Maybe it's sitting on. Maybe we'll do another little branch right here. We'll figure that out after. Okay, so we have a little bird, a cardinal, sorry, sweater, Christmas lights, mittens, a little tree. Let's do, maybe we need another little small one over here. So let's do like a cup of hot chocolate, even though we've done kind of like a hot chocolate illustration already. Let's do like a Starbucks one. So a big tall cup coming slightly inwards. So it's a little bit smaller at the bottom, round that bottom, same curve on top. And we can even put whipped cream on this one. So let's do kind of like a mountain of whipped cream. We can have like a little peppermint straw coming out or something. Okay, I'm just gonna lighten it up a bit. Let's make that whipped cream a bit better, make it fluffier. Like that. Okay, there we go, there's our cup. What else could we do? We could do baking. So let's do like a couple little baking things. So maybe like a rolling pin. So you're just gonna make like a cylinder type shape. So curved edges. And then just a little and there. Voila, rolling pin. We can do like a muffin pan or a pan of cookies, whatever you want. So we're just doing a curved kind of rectangular shape. Like so. We can even decorate those cookies on there after. Actually, let's make them like cute little shapes. I'll do some circles, maybe some trees or something. Like we made some cookies. Like that. That's cute. Okay, there we go. And then maybe a measuring cup or a whisk. So let's do like a little handle for a whisk. Like that. And then we're just gonna do curve, 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 like that. And then maybe a measuring cup, because that's always a good idea. Coming down. Always, like, if you need to look up pictures to help you with your illustrations, do that. Like, there's no shame in that. That's how you learn, right? You actually look at the actual item. Okay, and then we'll do like the lines and stuff on that later. And I think last but not least, we can do like a snowman, because obviously winter. So I'm gonna do a tiny little snowman over here. Just 3 snowballs like that. And like that. Okay, so now I'm just going to erase any lines that I don't need, or just make some lighter so we don't see them too much under our watercolor. Okay, just erasing them a bit, and let's start. Okay, so let's start with the lights. So usually a string of lights, they have like a dark green. Of course, I dropped water on this already. A dark green strand. So I have this color here called Perline Green. If you don't have that, don't worry. You could always use Hooker's Green and mix it with Dioxazine Purple. I'm just going to use this because I feel like this is going to be a long tutorial. So I'm going to make it a little bit, not too long. You know what I mean? And I'm just going to go over with my size 2 brush around the strand like so. Like that. And then I am just going to fill in these little squares. Okay, and then we're gonna let that dry before we do the actual lights because we don't want it to blend in with this green. Okay, so let's do our mittens now. And I'm thinking cute little red mittens. So I'm gonna take my size 6 brush and I'm just gonna grab some Winsor red and I'm gonna go over the whole mitten with this red. Not too much pigment, so a little bit more water, because we're gonna do kind of like a little knitted pattern on it after. Okay, so we're just doing kind of like a light wash of red. You could use, honestly, whatever color you want. You don't have to copy this exact, you know, colors and everything like that. Make it your own. Okay, like that, and then we're just going to connect it with that little string. And we'll come back when that dries a bit more. Okay, let's do our tree. I love doing these trees. Okay, so I'm going to start with some sap green. Actually, I'm going to grab some burnt umber to start. I can mix it a little bit with my green. And I'm just going to do the trunk like this. Then I'm going to go into my sap green. And then I'm just going to start doing some little flicks. Kind of like this greeny brown. So you're just going to flick it down, kind of like a little swoop. And this doesn't have to be too detailed either, okay? So just do it however you like. Make it messy, make it loose, whatever you want. Just swooping it down. Okay, and I did a couple that kind of stuck up at the top. We want to make those edges really thin, like they're little evergreen kind of needles. Okay, and we're doing the lighter color first. And if you want to, you can do some really tiny little pine needles, especially at the top here. Those top little ones, just to make it a little bit more detailed if you want. Okay. I don't know if you can hear my son. He's singing Queen, Radio Gaga. It's his favorite song right now. But yeah, you can add little pine needles off of those little swoops if you want. You do not have to do that. Just little tiny, just really light pressure with the tip of your brush. And if your brush isn't giving you really light lines, you might need a pointier brush. Okay, now I'm gonna go back into my darker green, and I'll just show you how I mix my darker green if I'm not using that perline green. Grab Hooker's green, dioxazine purple, and it makes a really nice dark green, which is very similar to the perline green. Okay, and I'm just gonna add some dark strokes on top. Kind of staggering them. And part of the tree's still wet, so it will blend. And if it's dry, it'll just get some sharper lines. I'm getting some sharper lines, some lighter ones. Okay, now he's singing Lion King downstairs. Okay. Like that, there's our little tree. Cute. And I'm gonna do a little kind of brown basket, just using my burnt umber color. Like this. I'll try and get under that green. Okay, so I have a light wash of my burnt umber. Then I'm gonna go back in with more color. Go around the side, maybe underneath where the tree would be. Leave a little bit of lightness on one side. Okay, you can even do a little bit of brown in there too. that. We could even do some patterns on that after too. Okay, so let's wait for these 3 to dry and then we will finish those with our detail before moving on. Okay, so my little trick for the lights, I'm gonna show you. I'm just gonna grab some clean water and I'm going to do like circles of where the lights would be. Okay, decent sized circles, like that with water. And you don't want it too wet where it's creating a puddle, you just want a nice light sheen. Okay, you want to try and keep it wet. Okay, and before we move on, we'll just do those. So I'm going to grab the colors that I want to use. So I'm going to start with yellow, and I'm just going to tap right there. Okay, and then it will start to spread out. So we'll do yellow, blue, red, green. Yellow, blue, red, green, and there'll be yellow there. Okay, so it kind of like looks like it's glowing a bit. Yellow, blue. I'm gonna grab some blue, turquoise, blue, red, green, blue. Okay, and it looks more like it's glowing. Like that. Okay, so let that dry and then we can do a bit more detail on that after. Okay, so now I'm gonna grab my smaller brush, my size 2, and I'm gonna go into my red. It's gonna be a bit more pigmented than the first layer. And I'm just gonna go and do like the little wrist part here. And we're just gonna start doing kind of like these herringbone patterns. So kind of like little V's almost. And it'll just look like it's kind of like a knitted pattern. Okay, again, it doesn't have to be like too detailed. And then down by the wrist, I would probably just do some lines like this. Okay, so just start kind of doing like a V pattern. And then just keep it going. As you can see, I'm not doing it like perfectly. I'm just kind of doing it a little bit messily. Lines this way, lines this way. And it looks like a cute little knitted pattern. Like that. And you can always make this a little bit darker if you wanted. Like that. Okay, so our tree's pretty good. If we wanted to do kind of like a weaving on the basket too, you could do that. You can just do same kind of thing as the mittens almost. Totally up to you though, if you can just leave it as is. Okay, I'm probably gonna, darken one side, a little bit more pigment. And if you wanted to go back in with a bit more green, do a couple more, more detailed lines, you can do that too. Like that. Okay. Okay, let's do our cardinal. Cardinals are red with a bit of a black face. So just black around the eyes and stuff. So I think I'm going to wet up all the parts that I want red. And I'm going to let it kind of be like a color bleed. So I'm going to leave the face dry. And then I'm just going to do the body with some clean water. I'm going to go into my red. And I'm going to kind of just let it bleed and do its thing like that. I think that will look kind of cool. Like that. Okay. Maybe just do a couple like feathery lines up at the top. Like that. And then I'm just gonna grab a little bit of orange for the beak, and we'll wait till that's dry to do the black around the face. Okay, let's do a little bit of detail on these branches. So we'll just do brown branch, and then we're gonna grab some of our green, whatever green you'd like to use. You just do some little pine needles. Okay, we'll do the feet after too. Like that. Okay. Actually, let's get a bit of a darker red too. So you could always mix a little bit of black with your red, or you can mix a bit of green with your red. And I'm just gonna add that darker red underneath while it's still wet. Kind of act like a shadow, and then maybe on some of the feathers. Like that. There we go. That just adds a little bit more depth to our bird. Okay, let's do our little hot chocolate here. Let's do like a dark green cup. So I'm gonna get some Hooker's green, a bit of purple to make it nice and dark, and then a bit of blue. Like that. And I think I'm gonna grab some white ink after and do some like little dots on it. So I'm just gonna grab this color. I'll water it down just a bit. Yeah, I think I might do some like little white dots on it later. But I'm going to make it darker on that one side just so it looks a little bit more 3D, and then maybe at the bottom, and leave that side lighter. Okay, and then let's do like a little candy cane kind of stripy straw coming out. So I'm just gonna do these little lines like that. And that's it. Okay, so we're gonna wait for those two to dry, and then we will finish those. And actually, let's finish these lights too. I forgot to do that. So we're just gonna take the actual colors of the lights, and you're just gonna, with detail, because those are dry, you're just gonna make little kind of light bulb shapes. So that first initial color you put down is kind of like the glow of it. And then when you go back over, it's gonna be a bit more, you're gonna see the shape of the bulb. Okay, we'll leave that. Okay, our little cardinal here. I'm just gonna grab some water and put it on the place that we did not paint for the face. Like that, just wet it up. And then I'm gonna grab some black, and I'm just gonna kind of let it bleed. Like that. I'm gonna leave a little bit of white space for the eye. Like that, and then maybe some little black feet here. Okay, because you kind of you don't want it to have like a sharp edge for the face. You want it to kind of like blend out a bit. We're not leaving a space for the eye. We'll do a little white dot later. Okay, and then let's do the whipped cream on top of this. So we're just gonna grab a really light wash of like a yellow, so like a yellow ochre or a brown, or you could use a gray. And we're just gonna kind of go around it, and then just do like these little swirls like that. You can even grab like, yeah, like a little bit of gray. It'll just kind of act as like a bit of a shadow. Like that. Okay? Okay, so now let's move on to the ones down here. Okay, so our Christmas, okay, so let's do our holiday sweater. I'm thinking red, just because, you know, I said so. I think I'm gonna do the top here, red. And then the bottom too, and we'll do some like pattern in the middle. One of those traditional like patterny kind of sweaters. And again, we'll be using like white ink after to kind of do some detail on the patterns and stuff. Actually, we'll close the back here. Make it a bit maybe darker right in the neckline there. Okay. Let's do some maybe navy with it. So I'm going to grab some indigo or Payne's gray, whatever you have, and I'm just going to do like some stripes. The bottom and the top. Like that. Maybe we can do like some snowflakes or something. We'll do like stars. We can do dots. You can really make whatever kind of pattern. You can always look at, again, a reference photo for pattern ideas. Oops, I'm gonna grab some red again. Maybe we'll do like a little zigzag. To a line. And we could do some, maybe like, I don't know, reindeer. So like do a little circle for a head, and then a little rectangle for the body. Do a circle on this side, rectangle for the body. Do some kind of like antlers. Very like simple kind of, doesn't even really have to look like a reindeer too much. And then 4 legs. There you go, we have a reindeer. Let's do some on this side too. And somehow they look like reindeer, even though they're not really reindeer. You could do, I find like diamonds and stuff are very ugly sweater patterns. And then we can grab our Payne's gray or our indigo again. Do some, I don't know, squiggles. Oops, that went right into my reindeer. That's okay. And there we go. Okay, so let's leave that to dry and then we will do a bit more detail on that after. Let's work on our little baking area here. So we're gonna use some burnt umber for our rolling pin. Grab a bit more pigment, even a darker brown, and just make it like darker on one side. So it looks like it's kind of circular, maybe on both sides, and just leave kind of like a little white, not white, but like a lighter space in the middle here. That didn't make it lighter, that's fine. It's fine. We'll do the little things after. Let's go around the pan with like a really light gray and we'll do the cookies after. So we're going around these cookies. And then gray for our little whisk thing. We'll leave the handle to do after. So you're just going over your pencil lines like that. And then even our little measuring cup here, we can just do a really light gray. And a bit more pigment to the side and around. That. We'll do more detail on that once that dries. And then lastly, our snowman. So I'm gonna use a really light blue. So just water this blue down here. And we're just gonna go around the snowman. You can even do the majority of the snowballs. Just leave one side almost pure white. Okay, so I'm leaving this side white. Okay, you can make it a bit darker with the blue on the one side. I'm gonna wash off my brush, dry it, and then just blend it out a bit more. Like that. I should have erased the, what's it called? The pencil marks a bit more, but that's okay. And then we can even just take some of our gray and just do like a little bit of a shadow underneath. I'm gonna wash off my brush, dry it, and then just blend it out. Like that. Okay, let's let those things dry and then we can add more detail to them. Okay, so let's do some detail on this stuff. Let's grab a little bit of black for our cardinal's eye here. Like that. Done. Okay, let's grab a bit more red. And we can do like the neckline, just some lines maybe around it of the sweater. Like that. Same thing on the cuffs of the sleeves. Might add some white too. Grabbing a little bit of darker red too. You can kind of outline the sweater with red too if you like. Maybe just add a bit of shadow onto one side. I'm gonna wash off my brush, dry it, and just like kind of blend it out. Okay, let's make some red handles for this thing, for our rolling pin. Again, use whatever colors you like. I'm gonna get a little bit darker red, go underneath, again, to make it look a bit more 3D. And again, you can even take some more burnt umber, go along the bottom there. Let's make a handle for our whisk here. Like that. I'm gonna make these cookies, I think gingerbread cookies. So we're just gonna go brown on all of them. And then we'll do some like white icing detail on it later with some white ink. Totally up to you though. You can always add more detail, color, whatever you like. That. I'm going to add some little red lines on the measuring cup there. Then I'm going to grab some black and do the same, like its little measuring points on there. You can outline it if you want. There we go. And then our snowman. Okay, so let's get some black. You can do a hat if you want. Oh, yeah, let's do a hat. Gonna do a line there. And then a little rectangle on top or square. 2 circular eyes. Dots for the mouth. Buttons. Let's get our orange for his carrot nose. Like that. You could do like a little scarf on him if you want. that. Get some brown for those arms. The more unstable and shaky your hand is, the better. Easy peasy, like that. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, that almost everything is basically done, make sure everything's dry. We are gonna grab our white ink. So for this, I'm using my Dr. P.H. Martin's bleed proof white ink, but if you have white watercolor, white gouache, a white gel pen, that will work too. So I'm just gonna wet it up. And the first bit of detail I'm gonna do is on these lights. I'm just gonna do like a little line so it looks like it's a bit of a shine to it. Highlight on the light. And it just adds a little bit more detail. Makes it pop a bit more. Like that. I'm gonna add a little dot for the eye here on the cardinal. I think I'm gonna do some like little white dots like it's snowing on the cup. Maybe I'll do like a little white line for the rim. Honestly, simple like that. I'm gonna add some white lines, oopsie, along the neck here. That one too heavy with the line, but we're just gonna go with it. And on the sleeve, like that, cute. Maybe you could add a little bit of a highlight here, just along the rolling pin and on a little dot there. And then let's add, this is still a little wet, my snowman, so we're gonna add some little designs on the cookies. I don't know what kind of designs. Maybe the kids made them. So they look like little gingerbread cookies. Like that. I'm gonna add a little bit of a highlight to the handle there. But honestly, that's it. That little bit of white really helps. And there you go. There is your winter favorites illustration page. Thank you all so much for watching my video. I really hope you liked it and I hope you learned something. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and follow me on Instagram for even more. Have a great day, guys. Bye.